Okay, boxing fans, so Vladimir Klitschko versus Kubrat Pulev has been postponed. They were supposed to be fighting next week. Vladimir Klitschko has a bicep injury, but it was first announced he had a injury to either his leg or Achilles. I'm not particularly sure, and obviously they haven't kept it around on the old papers. But it's been confirmed he's got a bicep injury now. Do I believe it? Do I not believe it? I don't know. Kubrat Pulev, however, thinks this is down to something else. He said that he's been tested numerous times in the last couple of weeks coming up to the fight, but Vladimir Klitschko has not had to be tested, and once he put that out there, all of a sudden Klitschko had to pull out. He said Klitschko doesn't do pre-fight testing, he only does post-fight testing. We'll talk a little about that and a few other things, but firstly, Paul, what do you reckon about Vladimir Klitschko's injury? Do you think he had a bicep / Achilles / leg injury, or do you think it's a load of bullshit?
It's very convenient, isn't it? And very, very coincidental if he has got a genuine injury, but no, personally. If you're going to ask me what my gut feeling is, then I just think it's a case of can't be arse-titus for Klitschko.
Yeah, because, I mean, he's got previous of this as well, hasn't
he?
He
has.
Dead
I will say this. I can't outright accuse someone of, faking an injury in this case, but I will accuse him in the past. As far as I'm concerned, there was nothing wrong with him when he pulled out against Chisora. Guy was pictured playing golf and running on the beach with his girlfriend, a few days after saying he had a really bad ab injury. So Klitschko has got form for coming up with some bullshit excuses. Whether he's done it again here, I don't know, but I don't entirely believe him for that way.
Yeah, and I know exactly how you feel. We'll bring in Rory. Rory, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is just a convenient thing, or do you think it's a real injury, or what do you think?
I mean, you hate to start accusing people without any proof, and I'm not going to do that. But I'm with the same thing with Paul, whereby I think it's very convenient for Klitschko, especially in the wake of what Kubrat Pulev came out with as well. Again, you don't want to start pointing the finger, but when 2 and 2 start actually adding up to 4, then you've got to start, being somewhat suspicious.
Yeah, I suppose, definitely. I mean, it's a really hard thing. I mean, what do you think about Vladimir Klitschko and the idea of him not doing testing? I'll just run through a few little facts for you. He didn't make it easy when he was fighting Povetkin. Povetkin wanted to do some testing, he wanted to do some other testing, and in the end, Klitschko did his testing, and Povetkin did his testing, well, they were now both tested by the same people, and now Kubrat Pulev has talked about testing, and he said that Vladimir Klitschko's not tested properly. What do you think about that, Paul? What do you think about that?
If Klitschko's not been tested, then it's just absolutely unacceptable, is the word, at the end of the day. If he's going to insist on drug testing and he's going to present himself as this model figure, because he does, Klitschko and his supporters all make out like he's this great example to young fighters, how he's this really well-behaved guy and he sets a great example. And at the end of the day, if he's not being drug tested before fights, when he's meant to be the world champion and he's meant to be this guy who people look up to, then it's really farcical. It's phony. He's a phony if that's the case. An utter phony.
Yeah, I think it's very, very abnormal the way he's apparently not being tested. This is what I don't understand in a fight. If one person's being tested, you can't have that. One person being tested by one organisation and another guy being tested by another organisation. They both have to go through the same test. That must be obviously the first thing that would happen. But apparently that is not the case with Klitschko, and Pulev not going through the same testing things. It's him being tested numerous times pre-fight, whereas Klitschko apparently has not. I don't agree with that. I think that's really bad. What do you reckon, Rory?
Yeah, I mean, you see it all too often in boxing, not necessarily just with the drug testing side of things, but whereby it's one rule for one fighter, another rule for another. And if you're the one who's going to be calling the shots as the world champion, so in this case, Klitschko, then you can't turn around and be, well, there's one rule for my challenger, one rule for me. You either want drug testing and both apply to both parties in an equal, same sort of environment, same tester, same organisation, or there's no point having it unless you can sort of collaborate data and cross-reference data. Then you've got to kind of just take it on word of mouth that the organisation that you choose is doing the same thing. And if it's not, then it just makes it really redundant and somewhat pointless.
Yeah. Nail on the head, yeah. I'm still sticking on this. Kubrat Pulev has also said that Shannon Briggs is on the Klitschko payroll to distract people from Vladimir not doing drug testing. Paul, what do you think about that? I mean, the whole Shannon Briggs farce.
Exactly that, mate. It's a farce. It's embarrassing. It's laughable, but not in the way that you'd think people want it to be laughable. It's laughable at how ridiculous it is, to be perfectly honest. I rarely see where Pulev's coming from when he says that, because at the end of the day, he is the guy fighting Klitschko. He's more than earned the opportunity to fight Klitschko. He's done far more than someone like the likes of Shannon Briggs has done to fight Klitschko. And I can see why he's annoyed at Shannon Briggs running around, making an arsehole out of himself, getting all the attention onto him, making everyone's talking about Shannon Briggs versus Klitschko. I can see why Pulev's thinking to himself, hang on, who is this idiot? Why is he stealing all my spotlight? Why is he getting all the attention when I'm the real challenger? I can understand why he's annoyed on that form. And to be perfectly honest, yeah, I do believe that in what he's saying. I really do think Klitschko or Klitschko's people have put Shannon Briggs up to making an arsehole out of himself purely to distract attention away from other things that are going on in the Klitschko camp that should get people's attention more than it's currently getting. I really, really tip my hat to Pulev for bringing that up, and I'm on his side.
And I want to also say I want to tip my hat to the boxing news organisations who were running with this story, because usually they'd always suck in that proverbial dick, to try and get the best story they can from Klitschko. I mean, not often do they cater to the likes of Kubrat Pulev. So we'll just same question to Rory. What do you think about Kubrat Pulev saying that Shannon Briggs is on the payroll?
Yeah, I think it's plain for everyone to see, whereby, unless it was worth your while, you don't want to be following Vladimir Klitschko around, going to where he eats, going to where he trains, unless it was going to be of any benefit to you. It's not as if Shannon Briggs is based in Europe, so it's not as if, it's down the road from where he lives, or it's, it's a quick train journey away. He's obviously had to come from the US over, and if that was his intended purpose, then he's not going to do it without someone promising him something or someone paying him something. I'm glad to see that it's kind of died down a little bit. Don't know whether that's intentional or whether or not it just didn't get the desired reaction to an extent. But I mean, it's one of those things that, if for argument's sake they turn around in a couple of months' time, or maybe even in 6 months' time, and say Vladimir Klitschko is now fighting Shannon Briggs, then everything that Kubrat Pulev's pretty much said, I would say is, 99.9% true. Then, it shouldn't be a fight it's a fight that shouldn't be happening, and if it does, then it proves all the sort of the theories correct.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to take this story a little further away from Pulev and Klitschko for a second. But Shannon Briggs has actually now fought 5 times. Since in 2014 he's fought 5 times. He's won 4 knockouts in round 1 and 1 unanimous decision over 12. So, do you guys think that Shannon Briggs versus Vladimir Klitschko could eventually be done? Paul?
Do I think it will be done, or do I think it should be done?
Both. Yeah, answer both. Yeah.
Do I think it will be done? Sadly, yes. Do I think it should be done? Is it a fight that I want to see, or a fight that anyone should care about? No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree. here's just another thing before I give the same question to Rory. He's just won as well, Shannon Briggs, the interim WBC Latino heavyweight title. And I mean, he fought that against a guy called Corey Phelps. Now, that doesn't sound too Latino to me, does it? And I mean, Shannon Briggs, last time I checked, was a black guy with former dreadlocks and stuff from, Brownsville, wasn't he?
Yeah, Brownsville.
He don't sound too Latino either. I mean, did they serve Mexican food at the place or something? How did they get the Latino title on the line? Don't make sense. Rory, what do you reckon about Klitschko versus Shannon Briggs? I mean,
it probably will happen. They'll cause enough media hype with it on social media. It's a fight I really couldn't care less about. Doesn't deserve his shot. In relation to the title side of things, what's the title they just won? The Latino
interim WBC Latino heavyweight title.
To be honest,
that prestigious belt.
So something of some notoriety. To be honest, let's not kid it. It's about as useful as a chocolate frying pan in it. So it's in boxing, and you hate to say it with the sport you love. They just make up their own rules as they go along, and whatever pays the bills and whatever brings in the cash, then they'll find a way around it.
I'll tell you something else, Roddy. Because he holds the interim WBC Latino heavyweight title, I guarantee next month he'll be inside the top 15 of the WBC rankings.
Of course he will.
If there's an interim WBC Latino belt or whatever, there's a full version of it as well.
There must be a full version of the WBC heavyweight title. I'm going to research that.
Can I fight? Can I fight for it? I'm not Latino, but apparently that doesn't matter.
To be honest, mate, I'm the silver belt holder, so you'll have to go through me first.
It depends if I go get some Mexican food first. I've got a feeling.
You qualify if you go into a Taco Bell more than 10 times in your life, then you qualify to fight for it.
Okay, I've just found this out. Okay, the WBC Latino heavyweight title. That's the full title, not the bitch title that Shannon Briggs holds.
Yeah, because that's the prestigious one. That's not a title.
That's the one everyone wants. Yeah.
That's the one you want to put up on your wall, in it, right?
Yeah, and get your photos with it. Yeah.
The one that was made just for John Ruiz.
Yeah, that one is being contested by a guy called Billy Wright, who's 49 years old. He's got 44 wins, 35.
Billy Jose Wright. Okay, yeah.
Billy Wright and a guy called Gilberto Domingos.
See, there we go. One of them qualifies.
Sanity prevails. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is the funny thing. Billy Wright's nickname is Bronco. So he's got a Latino nickname, if you ask me.
Oh, he could just be from Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I never thought about that.
You sure his name's Billy Wright, or is that just what he's put on his fake green card?
That might be the case on his green card, yeah. But I'll tell you something else. Gilberto's not even the fucking title holder. It's Billy Wright.
Billy Wright? Oh.
Billy Wright's
I wonder who Billy Wright won the title against. Matt Smith.
This is the best one. Billy Wright won his title his vacant WBC Latino heavyweight title against Raymond Ocheng. Ocheng? That's from Africa, man.
Well, it's those well-known Nigerian Latinos you've got to worry about.
Yeah,
They're a dangerous bunch, then, mate. You don't want to mess with them.
Yes,
I've heard the right rough answer.
The Ochengs are Mexico. Oh my days. And then he fought, this is the best one, he fought against a guy called Saul Farah. He defended against Saul Farah. That sounds like a mixture between Saul Alvarez and Mo Farah.
Oh.
He's ginger, but he can run for miles.
He's actually fought. I'll give him a little.
Give him some props.
Give him some props. He's defended his title in Bolivia one time and knocked out some Bolivian guys.
Bolivia's in South America, isn't it? That's not
yeah,
is that class as Latino?
Must be,
yeah.
Latino. He knocked out a guy called Ricky Torres
I'm sorry, lads. We're going to have to do some big preview for this fight, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure.
You get the betting odds up, mate. We'll do our research.
I'm gonna try and.
We'll get it sorted. My money's on the Latin guy.
I'll get a translator.
No, I'm going for Billy, man. Billy Wright.
Billy Wright.
Billy Wright. He sounds like someone who runs a pub down the road.
Billy Wright, if you're listening to this, mate, please get in touch. We'd love to interview you and ask you all about your title.
We'll have to get Armando on.
And your Latin heritage.
Yeah. Oh, Armando might know more about him. Armando's got Mexican heritage, hasn't he? Maybe Armando knows Billy Wright.
Well, on the bright side, he can do the translating because Billy Wright. I don't know if he speaks English, but
yeah, probably not.
Maybe Armando can explain to us what you've got to do to qualify to win this Latino belt. Because I can't work it out.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Armando's got a better idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
You've got to be a man and be breathing by the sound of it.
So Kelly Maloney doesn't qualify. Kelly Maloney doesn't qualify anymore then.
No. Well, she was mandatory, but she gave it up.
Now he's fighting for the women's Latino title.
Yeah,
I hear all the others is about 7th in line at the minute.
Yeah, but this is the one that's coming up, guys. Right? How have we not thought about this fight? Billy Wright versus Shannon Briggs, WBC Latino heavyweight title. We've got to find some other type of Latino titles. We'll get them all in on it. We'll get some Mexican food down there. We'll get some of those, ring girls, those fit ring girls that they have.
The Corona girls, oh yeah.
I've got one better. Do you remember the girl that we watched from
Roman Gonzalez?
The Roman Gonzalez fight, the one who was shaking her ass at that. We'll get her in on the job. That was the shit there. And then we'll make it a big thing. We'll get Armando to translate for us because we don't speak Spanish, unfortunately. And we'll interview the fighters and
we can put the fights on in Berkeley.
Yeah, and the winner, right, will be number 15 for the WBC. Can't get fairer than that.
I'll do the press conference. I'll stand between the two of them, just in case it kicks off.
Just in case it kicks off, yeah.
Well, obviously, need to get some doormen in, so we'll get Big Steve and Big Gary just to make sure if Vladimir doesn't want to join in and cause a ruckus.
Mm-hmm. Chris is a big lad. We'll get Chris to do security as well.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Chris has got past the security as well, so he'll be good. He'll get the crew in. But we don't know where we're going to put the fight yet. We might have to put it in Mexico maybe or somewhere else. But
no, to be honest with you, judging by how stringent they are with their actual Latin heritage, we could probably put it on in Birkenhead and it'd be no problem, to be fair.
Yeah, don't worry.
I reckon, yeah.
Get Lily Savage to do the what's it called?
The comparing.
Yeah.
We'll get it.
All right, lads. All right.
Clean fight.
I think we should call it there. Thanks for Kubrat Pulev. Thank you, Vladimir Klitschko. Thank you, Shannon Briggs. And thank you, Billy Wright.